Magandang araw sa inyo lahat. Ito si Kristan at ngayong podcast natin, medyo special to kasi first time tayo makikipag-usap sa isang governor sa isang probinsya. So with me, I want to welcome Governor Trina from Romblon. Hi Governor Trina, welcome to the show.
Magandang araw po sa lahat.
All right, sige. So Gov Trina, we just came kasi from a conference today talking about good governance and everything. And I think you're a part of the Mayors for Good Governance. Are you a part of it?
I used to be part of it because I was mayor from 2016 to 2025. So, syempre, nung 2025, nag-graduate ako from mayorship. Nag-graduate na rin ako from Mayors for Good Governance. In short, they said that I could no longer be part of it because I wasn't a mayor. But they are now assisting us to form the Governors for Good Governance.
So, governors are now going to be part of the Mayors for Good Governance? Is that what it's going to come out
It's
to?
going to be a different organization. So, we already have Mayors for Good Governance. We
So-
have the Vice Mayors for Good Governance.
And now?
And now there's going to be the Governors for Good Governance.
Nauna pa yung Vice Governor.
Parang I think they said that they wanted to form it and tinulungan sila ng M4GG.
Okay, Governor. So ganito, I wanted to ask you some questions about what it's like to be in the LGU. Kasi madalas pinag-uusapan natin national government. Ano nangyayari sa national government? Napapabayaan at nakakalimutan gaano ka-importante ang LGU sa usapan na to. So unang-una, you've been in the LGU as mayor for 3 terms already.
Yes.
Do you come from a political family?
My dad was governor before, from 2010 to 2019. I wouldn't say political family, but I have had relatives in government. And during that time, kasi he's a doctor, actually he's an OB-GYN.
Oh, wow.
And he was somehow prompted to go into politics in our province in Romblon. And doon ko nakita ko yung sitwasyon ng mga tao na parang sabi ko, parang gusto ko rin sumali sa gobyerno, gusto ko rin tumulong at makilahok. So, that's how I got pulled in.
And what is it, a municipality or what city were you a mayor of first?
So, it's a town called Odiongan, Odiongan. So, isa siya sa mga bayan sa Romblon. Ito yung pinakamalaking bayan. And yun na nga, I was explaining earlier, ang Romblon kasi para siyang microcosm ng Pilipinas. Pulo-pulo, isla-isla. So, we have more than 200 islands and islets.
Wow.
So, ayun. So, part of that is Odiongan. So, ang Odiongan ay part ng Tablas Island.
How many municipalities are in Romblon?
17 municipalities, 219 barangays.
So would you say, para lang sa kaalaman ng lahat, a governor is like a mayor and then the mayors are like barangay captains of a big city?
Well,
Parang ganon?
yes and no.
Okay.
Parang ganon. Yes, in the sense na parang sila yung pinaka-head. Si Kapitan, siya ang pinaka-head ng barangay.
Right.
Si Mayor, pinaka-head ng munisipyo or ng syudad, municipality or city. Ang Governor, pinaka-head ng probinsya. Pero nagkakaiba yan in the sense na si Kapitan, both executive and legislative functions.
Oh, okay.
Kasi siya ang barangay executive, pero si Kapitan also presides sa session ng barangay council. And then he also has judiciary functions. Kasi pag mayroong mga settlements, pag may mga negotiations, yung mga nagko-complain sa isa't isa, so he also has that function. So
Wow.
he's executive, legislative, and judiciary.
Oh my God, all in one. Okay.
Yes. And then si Mayor, syempre head siya ng kanyang town, but meron siyang mga functions na hindi ina-exercise ng governor and vice versa. So they are the heads, pero there are certain responsibilities or tasks na exclusive to each position.
Okay. And so what is exclusive to being a governor?
Okay. So ang probinsya kasi ang namamahala sa pagkolekta ng, for example, sa quarry, sa sand and gravel. Oo. So may mga ganong functions na sa governor. And syempre si governor exercises responsibility over the mayors. So kailangan niyang i-supervise, i-guide sila, i-check kung ano yung mga pangailangan. And yun na nga, dahil mas malaki ang scope niya, buong probinsya, so lahat ng munisipyo, lahat ng barangay, medyo kailangan i-supervise ni Gov. And then, ang magandang function, because I just wanted to share, ng mayor, na hindi magawa ng governor, and namimiss ko,
Okay.
pwede magkasal ang mayor.
Namimiss mo talaga yun? Sa dami ng kasal na I'm sure naging ninong ka na o inatendan mo, baka.
Hindi, kasi as mayor, ikaw magkakasal.
Ikaw magkakasal. Oo nga pala.
Officiating.
Right, tama. Oh gosh.
So, ang saya mag-officiate kasi ikaw nagbubuklod sa dalawang tao and because of the function that you have exercised, dahil sa'yo, magiging asawa sila. So, nakakatuwa.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, as governor naman, you're on your first term. What are the challenges in Romblon when it comes to being a governor? Na nakita mo ngayon na you're like, oh my God, nung mayor ako, hindi ko to nakita. Ngayon, nakikita ko tong problemang to.
So, unang-una, syempre, yung geographical scope namin. Kasi as mayor, isang bayan lang ako.
Yes.
So, more or less, within Ojongan lang ako. Ngayon, as I mentioned earlier, 200 islands and islets, pero actually, 20 main inhabited islands.
Okay.
So, I have to, syempre, as governor, go around these islands. So, minsan, speedboat kung sinaswerte, minsan bangka, minsan barko. Pag maalon, katulad ngayon, sa mga panahon ngayon, minsan may bagyo, may malalaking alon, na-experience ko na ma-stranded, na-experience ko na ang mga alon kasing laki ng bahay.
Wow.
So, it is a physically taxing part of the job.
So that's really part of the transportation is boat.
Yes.
Okay. And how many is the total population of Romblon?
So we're around 350,000. Although ang daming Romblomanon na nasa ibang lugar. So kahit saan ako pumunta, meron taga Romblon akong mamimit.
Okay.
Dahil din yan sa limited opportunities sa aming probinsya. So they go outside. Marami po kaming taga Romblon sa Batangas, Cavite, Laguna, Metro Manila, and Mindoro, Boracay. If you go to Boracay, ang daming taga Romblon doon.
Wow. What about yung actual residents? Mga ilan na lang siguro ang nasa Romblon?
Ayun, 350,000.
That is the residents.
Yes.
Outside, you're saying aside from the 350, outside of that, maraming pa taga Romblon. Are they still voting in Romblon? O kaya doon na sila sa kung saan sila nakatira ngayon?
Yung iba siguro.
Ay, okay.
Pero yung iba, doon na sila where they are.
So that means you have to get at least 175,000 votes para manalo?
Those are the residents.
The residents,
So
right.
the voters would
pala.
be half.
Right.
So we have 211,000 voters.
Wow, so inikot mo talaga yun nung kampanya.
Yes, I did. Yun na nga, ni-recount ko kanina, di ba, sa breakout session natin. To reach one of our farthest islands, yung Concepcion, nagbiyahe ako by land to the jump-off point. Nag-hire ako ng fisher, tapos 5 hours kami sa laot. So, it's good for 5 people siguro. So,
Right.
pagdating namin doon, basang-basa na, laki ng alon. Pero yun na nga kasi kung hindi mo marating yung lugar, paano malalaman kung anong problema? Paano mo makakasalamuhan yung tao para malaman nila na sincero ka, di ba? So, yeah, I did all that during the campaign and even now.
Okay, so your dad's in politics. He was the first ba?
Used to be.
He's the first one in your family? Before him?
Yes, long, like mga decades ago.
Decades, and then your dad.
Yes.
Tapos yung tatay mo yung naging mayor, ikaw naman yung sumunod na. Okay,
So yung dad ko naging congressman and then governor for 3 terms. Yun lang. Hindi siya naging mayor.
Okay.
And then, but yung sa part ko, naging mayor ako muna kasi nakita ko sa town ko na maraming pwedeng gawin.
I see. So ikaw yung first sa family mo naging mayor.
My grandfather was mayor in the 1950s.
Oh my God. Okay.
Does that count?
Well, may break at least. So that's important. Kasi what I was getting at actually is, I wanted to talk about political dynasties. Do you consider yourself a political dynasty?
I think I would say na we have people in the family who have been in politics.
Okay.
Pero yung sabihin mo na dynasty na sabay-sabay lahat, parang hindi naman ganon. But yeah, I would say from an outsider's perspective, dynasty. Pwede.
Okay. Pero
Pwedeng sabihin.
you're saying right now, ikaw
Or
lang...
political family.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say. Kasi kung ikaw lang ngayon ang nasa gobyerno, wala nang iba, you're not a political dynasty. You're from a political family. So that's a fair statement. What are your thoughts naman on political dynasties? Paano kung may kamag-anak ka na biglang tumakbo? Anong tingin mo doon? Tama, mali, dapat ba gawin o hindi? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Sa tingin ko, dapat ang mga kandidato, ina-assess sila based on their merits, individual merits. Qualified ba? Ano ang programa niya? Anong plataforma niya? Anong past experiences niya? So, base sa evaluation na yon, siya ba ay karapat-dapat na maihalal. So, it shouldn't be a factor na, ay, ang pamilya nila nasa politika, may hold sila, may influence sila. So, hindi dapat yon kasama sa equation. So, para sa akin, ang mga political dynasties, nakakabawas sa pagkakataon para sa ibang mga tao na lumahok sa politika. They do really prevent others sometimes
Yes.
from being able to engage in the political space and actually winning. So on that part, ako rin, ayoko sa political dynasty. Pero hindi natin mapapagkaila. Minsan, sa isang pamilya, pwede may 2 o 3 tao na gusto rin magsilbi, pero at saka kwalipikado sila. Pero, that being said, hindi dapat magamit yung impluensya ng kanilang pamilya or yung posisyon ng isa or kapangyarihan ng isa para maihalal yung iba pa. So, you evaluate each candidate based on their individual merits and qualifications.
Yeah, and tama ka doon kasi nakwento nga kanina ng isa sa mga participants sa conference natin na sa kanilang lugar ay may isang malaking political dynasty na may pagka-warlord. So ngayon, ang nangyari, wala nang tumatakbo, hindi dahil walang qualified, dahil takot lahat, dahil tinakot na. So ngayon, nagra-run unopposed na ang mga yung congressman, yung governor, yung mayor, lahat na. And lahat sila pamilya na. So, yun ang nakakaawang...
Yun ang ayaw natin.
Yes, yun ang ayaw talaga natin.
So, for example, di ba merong bill ngayon sa Senado at sa Kongreso. I am for that bill. Oo. Kumbaga, it will depend kung ano yung magiging provisions. Pero kung para sa akin na makaka-ensure siya ng better and more fair playing field, then I am for it. I would support it.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the issue, the big issue that is on everyone's mind, corruption. Ngayon, napag-usapan ngayon corruption sa level ng national na yung mga kongresista at mga senador ay mukhang may kickback sila. Sa LGU, meron ding corruption?
Masasabi ko na meron din, syempre. Oo, parang it can be in the small things, it can be in the big things. Yung small things, yung mga employees na medyo, under the table para mapabilis yung permit, mga ganon, meron yan talaga minsan. Although we've really been trying to make sure that doesn't happen, pero kumbaga minsan kalakaran yan. So there's the small things and then yung bigger aspect nga, which is siguro in terms of using influence, using position para makagain ng favor or monetary incentives.
Yes.
So meron at meron yan. Oo.
Okay, so I'll ask you a very pointed question kasi everyone wants to know for your particular province, right? Kasi pag governor province, may corruption ba nangyayari within your mahirap kasi mayors, may sarili silang domain, di ba? May sariling budget din, di ba?
Yes.
O how does that work with the budget? Sige, let's tackle that muna. Sa governor, ano ba yung budget ng governor? Or ano ba yung budget ng mayor? And where does the money come from?
So, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na National Tax Allotment or NTA. Dati itong tawag ay IRA. So, ito yung share ng mga local governments mula sa mga buwis, mga binabayad natin sa national government. So, si national government, based on a certain computation, which includes land area, population, equal share, etc. So, dinidivide ito sa lahat ng mga LGUs. So, depende sa which share you get. So, that is for provinces, cities, municipalities, barangays. Lahat yan may share ng national tax allotment. So aside from the NTA, meron ka ring revenue in terms of kung may local income ka, local revenue. That can come from may mga palengke, sementeryo, economic enterprises, yung taxes na binabayad sa LGUs. Kasama dyan yung real property tax, as I mentioned kanina, sand and gravel, quarry, professional taxes, entertainment taxes. So, ito yung bumubuo ng pera ng gobyerno. Ngayon, the way that it's done, meron tayong tinatawag na budget cycle. So, may part ng taon na nagko-consult tayo with special bodies. So, for example, yung 20% development fund, ang nagdidesisyon kung paano yan gagamitin ay ang Development Council. So, ang Development Council, for example, in the case of the province, ang mga nakaupo doon ay mga mayor, mga civil society groups, and other stakeholders. Sa part ng munisipyo or city, ang nakaupo naman doon, mga barangay captains, civil society organizations, etc. So, meron din sa barangay level. So, that's the 20%. Meron naman yung 5%, na pang disaster DRRM funding. Mandated yan by law. So, yung DRRM Council naman ang nagdedesisyon kung saan yun napupunta. Gender and Development, ganda din, 5%. 1% senior citizens, PWDs. So, medyo may provisions ang ating batas kung saan mapupunta yung ibang percentage ng budget. And then, syempre, yung para sa mga sahod ng mga empleyado, and then yung MOE, and then yung other programmatic na mga allocations. So, pag pinagsama-sama mo lahat yun yung parang tinatawag na executive budget. And dumadaan po yan sa sanggunian, whether palalawigan, panglungsod, pangbayan, or barangay. And then, yan ay inaaprubahan ng legislative body. Nasabi nga sa batas, power of the purse.
Right.
Yeah. So, parang Congress, di ba, for the
Yes.
GAA, for the national budget. So, hinihimay-himay yan. Chine-check kung tama ba, naayon ba sa mga prioridad. Pero at the start of each term, pag nanalo na lahat ng mga opisyales, upo na, meron tinatawag na CDPLA, Comprehensive Development Plan, Executive Legislative Agenda. So, all the officials come together, department heads, civil society, ano ang prioridad natin para sa terminong ito. So, all the projects for the next 3 years should be coming or emanating from the CDPLA.
I see. Okay. And then the governor naman, anong budget ng governor annually lumalabas? Magkano kaya yun?
Ayun, depende yon sa lugar. Kasi, di ba sabi ko nga, ang NTA nakadepende sa land area,
Right.
population, may base figure na equal for all. So, syempre, yung mas malaki na mga probinsya, mas malaki ang share nila ng NTA. Yung mas malaking population, land area. Kaya nga minsan, kaming mga isla, we're pushing for yung hindi lang land area, dapat kasama ang dagat.
Oh, wow.
Dapat
Okay.
kasama ang provincial waters, municipal waters sa bilang.
Right, okay.
'Di ba? Kasi we're
Sabagay.
also safeguarding the waters.
Right.
We have resources in the water. So, and because we are all islands, so dapat kasama ang waters, ang area natin sa tubig sa pag-compute ng NTA. But that's a different matter.
Is it now being taken up with Congress by any chance tong ano na to?
I think there were efforts before, pero sa ngayon parang wala.
But that's interesting. That makes sense yung sinasabi mo eh. So, pero if you don't mind me asking, ano bang national budget ng, ano ba ang budget ng Romblon ngayon?
So, we're at 1.4 billion. Last year, ngayon pala 1.5 na kami.
Right, okay, wow. Na-imagine ko, sinabi mo yung Romblon, 1.5 yung budget annually, di ba?
Yes.
Tapos yung mga flood control na corruption, 1 billion, isang kickback pa lang yun. Isang bigayon pa lang yun. Pero dito, marami nang nabibigyan ng trabaho at nabibigyan ng serbisyo sa amount na yon. So, yung tingin mo, paano natin mababago ang ating pamamalakad sa gobyerno para lalong makapagbigay ng serbisyo? Kasi kayo, LGU, kumbaga kayo yung direct contact ng mga tao eh. And nakikita ko talaga, I'm not sure how it is in the province. That's why I wanted this interview because sa Manila, Metro Manila, nakikita mo yung urban poor, di ba?
Yeah.
Kawawa talaga yung kalagayan nila. At hindi ko nakikita na natutulungan sila ng mga LGUs doon sa mga urban areas na to. Ano ang sitwasyon pagdating sa mga lugar tulad ng Romblon? Marami bang mga below the poverty line? Marami bang mga walang proper na bahay? Ano ang sitwasyon doon?
So, sa rural areas, katulad ng Romblon, siguro hindi mo mako-compare sa urban poor kasi ang urban poor nasa compact area, di ba? Silang
Yes.
lahat. Sa amin, dispersed. Pero, like for example, Mimaropa region to which we belong, and Romblon also, mataas ang aming poverty incidence.
Oh.
Okay. Bakit? Kasi unang-una, malayo kami. Di ba? When I asked earlier sa breakout session natin, sino nakapunta na ng Romblon? Walang nagtaas ng kamay, di ba? And maybe many people don't know where it is. So, dahil malayo siya, mahirap puntahan, minsan yung government resources hindi rin nakakababa as much as in other more accessible places. So, malayo kami. And also, sinong pabrika or industriya ang magtatayo sa amin?
True.
Malayo na, kung may product sila, itatransport pa ng barko.
Yes.
Pangalawa, kami ay off the grid. SPUG, kung tawagin, in terms of electricity. We're not connected to the Luzon main grid. So that means our electricity is more expensive per unit. Okay?
Wow.
So that's that. And the challenge also of creating that infrastructure, di ba, sa electricity. And then dahil isla kami, syempre ang tubig, kung what is available on the
Right.
island. So minsan,
wow.
may mga isla kami na challenge ang tubig. And then, opportunities, as I said, di ba? Economic opportunities. Investors, sino mag-invest? Unless maganda ang, for example, turismo mo,
Right.
or meron kang niche industry, anong pagkikitaan ng tao? Right? So, in terms, and hospitals.
Yes, I was gonna say, oh, yun
Kasi
pa.
ang mga ospital, under sa amin sa provincial government, so we have 8 hospitals because our islands are dispersed. So may
Wow.
mga isla-isla na, may mga ospital sa iba't ibang isla. So, paano kami maka-attract ng mga doktor, nurse, ibang medical professional? Siyempre, ang mga espesyalista, gusto nila sa Manila.
Yes.
Ang pwede lang kitain sa isang araw sa Manila, baka isang buwan or 2 linggo bago nila kitain sa amin. At yung biyahe pa, di ba?
Yup.
Especially if yung mga doktor na ito ay taga Manila or ibang lugar. So, it's always a challenge for us to attract medical professionals to our hospitals. And then, basta all these factors combined. So, when we talk about the rural poor, hindi siya yung mahirap such as urban poor. Pero yung access to basic services, isa yon sa kailangan talaga pagtuunan ng pansin at mababa ang average monthly income ng mga pamilya dahil dyan.
You know, ang dami kong natutunan sa mga binanggit mo ngayon, ano, na ang pag sinabi kasing below the poverty pala is access to social services like hospitalization, education,
services.
basic services, di ba?
Yes. Plus yung average monthly income.
Plus yung average monthly income pa doon. Pero Romblon is special for, they are known for something.
Siyempre, marble, di ba?
Okay.
We're known for marble. We're one of the very few places in the country that have marble as an industry. And then farming, fishing, but also we're now becoming more known for tourism. So napakaganda ng aming mga isla.
Okay, sige. So first, let's talk about the industry, then let's talk about tourism. Unang-una sa industry ng marble. How much does marble contribute to the Romblon economy?
So it's not even 10%.
What?
Pero di ba pag sa Araling Panlipunan, yun yung
Yeah.
marble.
Oo
di
nga.
ba?
Oh.
Marble,
So why not? Why is it only at
So
10%?
in the 80s up to the early 90s, medyo okay, booming ang marble business. Di ba, you look at the IA2, the floor there is marble, that's from Romblon and everywhere.
I was actually starting to look na kung may
Dito,
marble.
hindi.
Wala eh.
Pero yun na nga, after that, pumasok na yung synthetic tiles ni China.
Ayun.
So, yung pumasok na ng synthetic tiles ni China, and not just China of course, but all the
All
other
over the world,
countries, syempre, parang medyo nadihado na si marble. Kasi si marble, that's natural stone.
Yes.
So, you don't get yung recurring patterns
Yep.
that you could get in synthetic tiles. If you order 1,000 slabs, they may all not look alike, diba? Pero if you order from China, they're all gonna look alike. They're gonna be cheaper. You can get them tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that put us at a disadvantage. But what we're doing now is reviving the marble industry. We created the Marble Industry Development Council.
Okay.
DUST is working with us on a grant to revolutionize. And then DTI is also working with us for the facilities.
Oh, great.
We're working with a lot of partners. Even UP is working with us on developing biofoam from seaweed.
Oh,
Para
wow.
we're not gonna use bubble wrap anymore or yung mga non-sustainable packaging. And we'll be able to help the seaweed farmers as well.
Oh my
So-
God, that is so amazing you brought that up. Kasi my partner actually is into the arts and they use a lot of bubble wrap to wrap arts. And she was asking, we were just talking
Okay.
about it. What can we do that's sustainable and does not destroy the environment? I'll introduce you to her later
Okay,
because I
yeah.
really want her to
I met
hear
her
what you just
kanina.
said. Oh, that's incredible. Okay, so sa marble, I really think naman that marble is a better alternative to a lot of the synthetics. It is more classy. And when you say marble yung ginamit mo, parang wow, social ka na agad, di ba? I'm surprised nga that it's only so small and that synthetics took over. I think is it a lack of marketing and awareness kaya? Or is it a question of just price? And if it's price, kaya bang babaan pa ang presyo ng marble?
No, it's a lot of factors. So,
It is, okay.
kasama yung quality control. Kasi ang ganda ng marble. Pero,
Right.
for example, if you ordered 100 pieces of, say, a tray,
Right.
they may not come out exactly looking alike because not only because of the stone, mano-mano.
Yes.
So there's human error. Baka dito medyo parang mas curved, dito medyo hindi pantay, which is why we're now investing in machinery with the national government agencies I mentioned.
Right.
So we're automating some of the functions para nga medyo mas uniform, quality control, etc. Another is supply. If you said, I want 100 of that, it depends on my supply.
Ah.
So baka hindi ko ma-provide kasi if you want it of this color, of this ano, because nga, so those kinds of things.
Okay.
Which is why we would prefer, instead na yung mga tiles and other things, we're moving towards more art. Diba? So
there.
sculptures, more niche products para medyo mas may premium. Pag may
Right.
premium, unang-una, hindi ka basta-basta nakakopya.
Yes.
Pangalawa, you can get more value for the product. So we're moving towards that kind of, setup.
I love it. Okay, now we'll talk about tourism naman. I'll be honest with you, I've never been to Romblon, nor do I know anything about Romblon. If you were to recommend top three places that somebody who's never been to Romblon that you must see, what would those 3 destinations be? Mahirap ba yung 3?
Oo.
Nako.
Sobrang
dahil
ganda
sobrang
kasi.
dami.
And so it depends on what you like, di ba?
Okay.
Kung for the normal, regular person, we have Bonbon Beach.
Okay.
It's a sandbar. Pag low tide, you could cross to an island. So you can really see the sandbar. And it's been adjudged as the 38th best beach in the world.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
So ang ganda niya talaga. Very pristine and there's a bit of a cove. Pwede ka mag-swimming doon. Basta ang ganda niya. And the best part about it is halos walang tao. So pag pumunta ka, parang feeling mo ikaw may-ari. Di ba?
Oh my God. Okay.
And then there's Cresta de Gallo, also another sandbar, but it's its own island. Sobrang ganda, sobrang blue ng waters. A lot of people, if you look it up, basta ang ganda niya. We also have Mount Giting-Giting. Sibuyan Island is the densest forest in the country, the Galapagos of Asia, more flora and fauna than the entire European Union.
Wow. Okay. Pero,
Okay.
okay.
It's part of of Romblon. Sobrang ganda nung bundok. And it houses a lot of endemic species that you can find only there.
Okay.
And it's a very good hiking trail. So, 3 yon. Pero, hindi ko pa nababanggit si Blue Hole. Si
Okay,
Blue
wow,
Hole
I love
ang
this.
only underwater vertical cave in the country.
Wow.
Na documented ha.
Okay.
So, I don't know if there are others. But basically, you go down at 30 feet underwater. Merong malaking butas. It's a, blue hole.
Yes.
Bababa ka sa loob. Pwede ka mag-dive down up to 96 feet.
Wow.
And then dun sa baba, there's a tunnel. You can go out that way. So basically, you go in and then you go out from below. Dun sa baba, merong beautiful Gorgonia fan. Makikita mo yung mga pygmy seahorses. Ang cute nila. Ang lalaki ng mata. Transparent fish. And then when you go out of the hole, it's this beautiful coral wall that makes you feel like you're in a dream. At ang
Oh
dami-dami
my
pa, pero
God,
hindi ko na, and
wow.
syempre yung marble, di ba?
Yeah, that's amazing. You're just explaining it to me. Navi-visualize ko na, na-imagine ko na kung gaano kaganda yung mga lugar na to. Mahirap bang puntahan? Oh, yan. At saka, hindi lang, kasi when you talk about tourism, hindi lang siya yung maganda yung lugar. Kailangan
Ready ang facility.
accessible, number 1. Number 2, accommodations. So, yung dalawang tanong ko doon, is it easy to get to at meron bang pwedeng ma-stayan doon pag pumunta ka sa mga lugar na yon?
So, syempre, accessibility, yun yung medyo wini-workout namin ngayon. Medyo kulang pa. From Batangas, you have to take a 9-hour to 10-hour boat ride to our islands. We used to have a flight, pero sarado siya ngayon. Walang flights sa ngayon. Diba?
Ay.
Because of the policy of yung propeller jets, hindi na pwede sa NAIA, kailangan sa Clark. So, na-affect kami doon kasi masyadong malayo na si Clark para sa
Yes.
amin. So, when that policy came into effect, halos wala nang sumakay. So, nag-shutdown yung airplane, yung flight. We are now in the process of expanding the airport para ma-accommodate yung bigger commercial planes.
Yes.
Pero that's gonna be a 2-year process maybe. So, in the meantime, yung ibang guests from Katiklan, pero tatawid ka pa.
Well, Katiklan's near, di ba?
Yeah, Boracay, right?
Right.
Pero it's a 2-hour boat ride. 2 to 3 hour boat ride.
Okay.
So, or bangka if you can take the bangka, no? So, nagbangka lang ako kahapon.
Oh my God, okay.
So, pag malakas ang alon, may bagyo, syempre, hindi ka basta-basta makakatawid.
Right.
And for tourists, that's not such a good, di ba,
Okay.
option. So, we're working on that to improve that kind of transportation. We also talked with some of the shipping companies to have alternate routes, expansions, all those. So, syempre, that's the economic side. Kasi,
Yes.
di ba, parang chicken and the egg. Tourists won't come if there's no proper transport.
Right.
But,
there's no
if you don't have
proper
proper transport, the tourists won't come. Di ba? So, parang medyo, basta medyo, pa siya, inaayos pa namin sa ngayon.
Okay.
We're also looking to expand cruise tourism.
Okay,
Kasi yung cruise
yes.
tourism, yung mga cruise ships pupunta, so andun na sila di ba? Wala na silang kailangan na transfers.
Yes.
And then from the cruise ship, they can go down and enjoy the sights for a day or two. So, isa yun sa tinitingnan namin. And then, yung sinabi mo about accommodations, we do have hotels. We don't have any large hotel chains yet. So, syempre, yung mga gusto mag-invest, you're welcome
Ayan,
to.
ito na. Oh.
But we do have decent hotels.
Okay.
And we have a few nice hotels. We have a few boutique hotels. So, hindi naman masyadong mahirapan yung turista in terms of accommodations as long as they're okay with simple accommodations.
Right, okay. So, sa mga, like for example, na mga nanonood na nag-iisip ngayon, uy, parang masarap mag-invest dito sa Romblon, baka pwede ako bumili ng property doon. Oo, ng lupa. Magkano ang mga lupa ngayon sa lugar na Romblon? Would you know? Would you know the price?
It really depends. Beachfront could range from anywhere from 4,000 to 20,000.
Per square?
Yes, per square meter. It depends where it is. Inland, syempre, medyo mas
mura.
lalo na sa mga bundok, barangays. Pag sa mga town centers, it could range from anywhere from 8,000 to 25,000 per square.
Mahal na rin kung tutuusin Oo.
Because maliit.
Yes. So, ang ganda nung sinabi mo that two years from now, I'm actually going to ask you that again in 2 years. Kung meron ng airport ng Romblon. And it's sad to know nga na natanggalan nga because of that issue with the propeller planes. I really hope magkaroon na because I'm sure that's going to make a big difference with tourism.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely because we were talking with one dive company because hindi ko nabanggit, diving in Romblon is spectacular. So nabanggit ko na si Blue
Yeah,
Hole.
the Blue Hole nga.
But
That
then
yun
there's
pala.
also the nudie branches, the sea slugs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the pygmy seahorses, as I said, sobrang daming sea slugs na yung mga underwater photographers, they always come to Romblon. And then, not to mention the bird watching, it's also very good according to the bird watchers. But anyway, yung isang dive company, sabi niya, when there was still a flight, and then ko-compare niya to now, so around 50% ang nawala because
Wow,
of
ang
the
laki
plane.
nun.
Kasi syempre, if you're a tourist, you have limited time,
Yes.
and then you're gonna take a boat, syempre, it cuts into your vacation time, di ba? So,
Yes. Okay. Sige. The best way, sounds like it para sa akin, ay pumunta ka muna ng Boracay.
yes, that's an option.
Tapos from Boracay, it's just a 2-hour boat ride. If it's one of those bigger boats, pag bangka, probably 3 to 4 hours.
Hindi naman.
Hindi
1 and
naman?
a half, actually.
1 and a half?
Hindi, pero it goes to different places.
I see. Okay. Has the government, or I don't know if it's under the governor or is it under the national government, ever thought about yun na nga parang linking all of the islands by bridges?
So siguro, dahil nga sparsely populated kami, relatively, o hindi masyado maraming population, parang hindi pa siya siguro masyadong nasa radar ng gobyerno na lagyan ng mga tulay. Kasi medyo malalayo at saka malalim ang dagat sa gitna. So you really have to do a lot of tunneling and all those things. So right now, walang ganong pag-uusap.
Aha, okay.
However, sa Regional Development Council, initiative ni Governor Melgo ng Marinduque, he's talking about the Diamond Route. So the Diamond Route would connect Batangas, Marinduque, Romblon, Mindoro, and maybe even parts of Palawan together. So he's pushing for an inter-province na rota ng mga barko. So we're hoping that can be taken up by the national government.
I hope so. And I love the idea of having the not the ferry, excuse me, ferry ba tawag? No, cruise ships. Kasi we are an archipelago and I'm surprised nga wala tayong mga cruise ships Yung mga ibang
local.
bansa nga, di ba? Yung mga sa US, ang daming mga cruise ships sa Europe. I've been on them and amazing. And sa Pilipinas, sa dami ng ating mga isla, wala tayong ni isang cruise ship. O meron ba? Super ferry ba? Is that considered a cruise ship? Or medyo parang
pwede na. But not really in the sense that it doesn't go to different
Yes.
islands and destinations. So, I had a chance to go to Greece. Ganun din, di ba? If you go to yung mga islands, middle, ano nila, parang there's a regular ferry that goes around all these islands. So, if you're a tourist, you can visit an island each day or 2 or 3 islands per day.
Wow.
So, yun nga gusto namin mangyari, na may ganong rota, kahit fast craft or light ferry, naiikot sa mga isla para ang tourist pwedeng mag-island hopping.
Wow. Ang dami kong natutunan dito. At I'm sure sa mga viewers natin, marami silang natutunan at may mga iba sa inyo siguro nag-iisip na gusto ninyong pumunta ng Romblon at matry nyo yung, yung mga iba't ibang mga destination doon. Gov. Trina, salamat ulit sa oras mo and I really am looking forward to seeing what you can do as a governor for Romblon and I wish you all the best and all in your career as a government official. Now, for the viewers, kung may mga komento kayo dito sa video na ito, pakisulat na lang dito sa comment section sa ibaba. And if you have questions, sulat niyo yan dito sa comment section. And if you like these kinds of topics, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chris Tan. And with that, salamat ulit and we'll see you guys on my next episode.